Yo, 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 welcome back to Lead from the Line podcast. I am your host, Coach Mac, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the toxic group chats. And the back channel poison is what we're talking about. So have you ever been in a situation where you've been at a game or you've been a coach or just a parent, whatever that situation may look like, and something doesn't go right in the game, and you have that group that is kind of over here talking, whether they're talking about a specific player or they're talking about the coach? You've heard it, you've seen it. One of the things that I always like to share, having been a coach for many, many years, is some of the messages I receive from parents. Some of the things that don't go their way for their kid, and you'll get some funny messages. And so today I just really want to talk about that, right? If you're trash talking kids or your kid's coach at the Sunday barbecue, don't wonder why your kid has a bad attitude at Monday's practice, right? You've built up that reality for your kid. And so, again, welcome back. We're continuing our push through the second half of season 2. And if you're new here, our mission is simple, but it's not an easy mission, right? Human first, athlete second is something that I stand on. And we hold the adults accountable so that the kids can actually thrive. And before we dive in today's episode, ready to level up your leadership from the ground up? This is Lead from the Line. Here's your host, Coach Mac.
Coach Mac, Coach Mac, here is your host, Coach Mac, Coach Mac.
I just want to go ahead and talk to you today about this merch, right? I'm not selling merch to become rich or anything like that, but if anybody is interested in the merch that says Lead from the Line, I'll pop a picture up somewhere right here that shows the back of the shirt, the hat. You can see my bald dome. Human first, athlete second. Again, this is just something that I like to wear the merch. I want to wear my brand. And so if you'd like to lead from the line and that's something that you believe in, and you believe in human first, athlete second, click the link in the bio and go ahead and get you some merch. Simple as that. Also, if I know my Lead from the Line logo is orange, but if, say, you're a coach of a different color team and you want me to create you a shirt where the Lead from the Line logo is different, I don't mind doing that. And so the merch is live. It looks incredible. Every hat or shirt you wear on the sideline, right, is just a billboard for the culture change that we need. So as I said, today we're talking about a cancer that is eating youth sports from the inside out. And it's not happening on the field. It's not happening in the locker room. It's not happening on the game, right? On the game fields. It's not, again, like I said, it has nothing to do with what the kids are doing, and it's happening on your cell phone. We're talking about those toxic group chats and the back channel, the things that go on behind the scenes. So let me paint this picture for you, right? Every single person listening to this podcast knows too well. The game ends. Maybe it was a tough loss. Maybe the play calling was questionable. That right there, I'm already like, ooh. Or maybe your kid didn't get the snaps you thought they deserved. You smile at the coach at drop-off and say, good game, coach. Have a great weekend. And before you even put your car into drive, and you head back to your home, the group text lights up. It opens with that one parent. Can you believe he ran it on 4th down? And then the avalanche begins. Suddenly, you have a digital echo chamber of adults who volunteered, hear me out, who volunteered 0 hours of their week to help. And they're the ones that are tearing down a volunteer coach. We see this all the time on social media. Everybody thinks they know basketball better than the guy with the clipboard. It's the LeBron James effect. Everyone sits on their couch critiquing greatness, thinking they could run the floor better, that they could coach the offense better, that they could coach a defense that allows 0 points every single game. But we're not talking about the NBA or the NFL here. We're talking about youth sports, pee-wee sports. And of course, I see this happen constantly, right? They start critiquing another person's child in the chat. Well, Jimmy clearly doesn't have the arm strength to be playing quarterback. And that kind of stuff just blows my mind. It's like, it's not our job to critique anything that's going on, right? Coaches have a very, very hard job when it comes to choosing where kids play, right? In some situations, you're going to have the coaches who really, really map everything out and they get everything situated and they get the people in the right position to succeed and to perform. But let me tell you, as a volunteer coach, it's so hard, right? For instance, on our team, we only had a certain amount of big kids. And so we only had certain options of the kids that can play offensive line and the kids that can play defensive line. And unfortunately, there were some smaller kids that had to step in and do that. But as a coach, we try our best, but it's just pure cowardness, right? For somebody to send a text message when they simply looked the coach in the face and told him good job, right? So between Kimberly and me, again, we've got 4 kids, right? We have those 2 older daughters and 2 younger boys. And so we've been navigating the youth sports landscape for, man, I would say I have about 12 years in the game. If you look at that, 12 or 13 years in the game. And I know exactly how exhausting it is to coordinate schedules, right? And do all those things. I get it. And so I understand it's frustrating. You've set out in the heat and you've brought your kids to practice and you expect your kid to do this, or you expect the kid that's playing quarterback to do this. But unfortunately, you got to understand. And again, I always like to pull back in certain situations. I coach a younger age group. So I understand when you get to that last year before middle school, the level of athleticism and the way the kids have picked up the game and the things they're able to do may be different than the younger kids. But still, it doesn't change the fact that it's hard. It's hard to coach. It's hard to play, and they're kids. At the end of the day, when you do a practice for a 9-year-old group of kids who just went to school all day, their attention span is really, really short. It doesn't matter how good the team is. We've coached, we've made Super Bowls, we've won Super Bowls, but at the end of the day, man, they're kids. And we've got to understand that kids make mistakes, and guess what? This may come as a shock to you. Those coaches that volunteer, no matter how much experience they have, no matter what level they play at, guess what? They make mistakes too. And so when you create that secret club specifically designed to just breed negativity, you're destroying the community fabric of the team. You are creating a toxic cloud that hovers over every practice and game. And I want to give a shout out. I have moved, so I'm no longer coaching my Frisco Seahawks. And I want to give a shout out to the parents of those kids. There was never an ounce of drama. Those parents trusted myself and the other coaches to do things the right way, to put their kids in situations to perform and do things the right way. So again, while it is hard to coach kids of, 9 years old, 10 years old, when you have a fantastic group of parents who are hands off and they let you do your thing. Now, again, I don't know if some of those parents had a group text and had something to say about us and the way we did things after the game. But if they did, we never heard about it. We were able just to do things the right way. Coach the kids for situations. I've talked about this on a previous episode. One of my favorite memories was when we were getting ready to play in the Super Bowl. We were in the last practice of the year, and we simply asked the kids, do you feel pressure? And to hear them respond with a yes, it didn't shock me, but just how quickly they said it. And to be able to tell those kids, you've done everything the right way up until this point. All you need to do now is play the game of football, have fun. The results will take care of themselves. And my goodness, did they go out there and play the best game of the year? And we were able to bring home that trophy. And so here's the most brutal truth, right? You think you're hiding it from your kids, but you aren't. Kids are human sponges. They hear you venting in the front seat on the ride home. They see you rolling your eyes in the bleachers, right? When your child hears mom and dad complaining that the coach is clueless, that the referee is cheating, or that the system is rigged against y'all to win the game, what do you think happens? The kid stops listening to authority. So you are actively sabotaging your own child's ability to be coachable. I'm going to say that again. You are actively sabotaging your own child's ability to be coachable. And nobody wants to coach a kid who's not coachable. You're handing them a silver platter of excuses. If the coach is always the problem, your child never has to take accountability for their own lack of effort. If the refs are always messing up, your child is never accountable for that missed block they made or that pass they dropped, And so we've just got to be super, super careful when it comes to that. And again, when I talk about referees are humans. If you don't like the way a refs a game, then maybe you should get involved and get certified or whatever it is to be a ref as well. Man, I've coached enough of football games and I've dealt with me as a coach, and man, refs have a impossible job to keep everybody happy. Everybody is so dang competitive, especially out here in Texas. We do not play about our football. I don't care if it's 5U flag. Everybody is super, super competitive. But at the end of the day, don't give your kids an excuse. I don't care how little they are, right? If they drop a pass, it's not because they took their eyes off the ball. It's because the quarterback threw the ball too hard. Dads, raise your hand if you've ever said that. Moms, man, why is he throwing the ball so hard? I'll raise my hand. Now, as a coach, it's a little bit different. You just tell your young quarterback, hey, not every throw has to be a bullet pass, right? I'm laughing because I can see it right now. Kid runs that first slant and that quarterback just beans them. When you get those quarterbacks reined in, they know how to do that. But when we get to a point where our kids have developed and they know how to catch a ball, and we've got the quarterbacks knowing how to put a little bit of touch on the ball, we can't use that excuse anymore, right? Oh, you didn't catch it. Honey, you didn't catch the ball just like your dad said because the quarterback threw it too hard. When you poison the well with your back channel gossip, your kid drinks that water. Whether you believe that or not, that is exactly what happens. And you are teaching them that when things get tough or when you face an obstacle, you don't work harder to overcome it. You just avoid it, right? And that's a terrible thing to be. One thing that I say, and I have a few pet peeves. If you've listened to previous episodes, there's a couple. We're not going to go into them. One of my pet peeves is negative people. Negative victim mentality, poor, pitiful me. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter how the situation started. Doesn't even matter if they started the situation. Negative, poor, pitiful me type people, victim mindset people will always have an excuse. And that absolutely makes my skin curl. I hope when you're watching and you're listening to these episodes that it transfers through the camera, through the speaker in your car, through your AirPods, whatever, however you're listening. I hope it transfers that I'm a very high energy, I'm a very positive, I am a mentally sound individual. I am completely unbothered by anything. You know, it would be funny if the only person that probably knows me 100% will be my wife and probably my best friend, Leppy, who I've known for many, many years. But outside of that, if somebody thinks they know me or thinks they're able to pinpoint or, man, I think we offended him or I think we did this. No, you didn't. I am literally the definition of unbothered. You're not going to bother me with anything. Now, you mess with my kids, you mess with my family, that's a little bit of a different story, but you can say whatever you want about me. You can do whatever you want to do. It does not matter to me, right? I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what my mission and my calling is in life, and it is to help those people around me, specifically as well, to help build the future generation. And I'm able to do that through sports, and that is something that I'm passionate about. That wasn't even a part of the episode, but when I get to talking sometimes we can go. But I hope that transfers, right? Like what you see is what you get with me. I would give you this shirt off my back in a heartbeat, right? I genuinely care about people. I do not like drama. I hate seeing the stuff I see on the internet because I'm just like, ooh, what would I do in that situation? But then I'm like, ooh, I'm glad I wasn't in that situation because I don't know. Like, right, I pride myself on doing things the right way, and with my kids, I don't try to give them an easy out for anything. Like my kid the other day didn't want to do something, and I just told him, I said, bro, come on. I said, we cannot continue. You're going to be 13 years old in January. I'm like, we cannot continue saying I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm like, brother, you gotta come on. And it ain't because I don't love you. It's because I'm trying to prepare you for the future. I need you to know that I got your back, but I don't need you to rely on me for everything, you know. And I don't want him to grow up too fast. That's not what I want from my oldest son. But man, I just want him to be like, man, I can do everything, but if I can't, I got my guy right there who's gonna help me, right? Not, hey, my dad cleared every path for me. So, but when we're going to that, let's see where I was at. Yeah, you're teaching these kids that they don't have to, when stuff gets tough, that you don't have to work hard. You just can get through it. I'm going to help you get through it. And we just can avoid it by complaining behind people's backs. Or, you know, our job is to increase that confidence, to help them handle those obstacles, not give them an excuse to dodge them, right? And that's a terrible trait to give a human being. I don't care how old they are. I feel that a lot of the things that are learned young is what is that groundwork and that foundation for when kids get older. And if they're able to fall back on some of those bad behaviors they're learned, that's not good. Now, am I saying something they learn at 9 is going to ultimately be the thing that affects them when they're 21? No. But what if? I hate what ifs, but what if you lay the right foundation now and they never have to get in those situations when they get older, right? And so we have to change the culture. Everyone involved. Again, one thing I love is I post my videos all the time on the internet, and it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a video that has to do with black people, the white people have their comments to say. If it's a video that has to do about white people, the black people make their comments. And then sometimes vice versa, like, oh, why are you showing this video about us? We didn't. And my thing is I laugh all the time. I'm literally half white, half black. I'm going to sit in the middle of the fence and I'm going to ride it both ways. I do not see color. I see issues. And if there's an issue, I'm going to talk about it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Click a thumbs up. Thank you for the engagement on my content and keep it pushing. It has nothing to do with color for me. It's right or wrong, and we have to change the culture, right? And it starts with setting the standard right now. If you have an issue with how the team is run, here's the protocol. First, use the 24-hour rule. Let your emotions cool down before you fire off a text message, before you say something that you're going to regret. Did your parents tell you that growing up? Don't say something that you'll regret later. Once it comes out of your mouth, you can't take it back. So keep that in mind, right? Let your emotions cool down. You don't have to send that email from the parking lot. You don't have to text that coach at midnight because you're still frustrated. After that 24-hour period, if you still have a valid concern about your child's well-being, your child's development, you can approach that coach face to face. You can shake their hand, you can look them in their eye, and you can have an adult conversation. If you're not willing to say it to their face, keep it out of the group chat. And for the parents listening who are in those chats right now, you have to be the thermostat and not the thermometer. You have to be the thermostat and not the thermometer. The thermometer is going to be the reader, right? But that thermostat controls everything that's in there. And so when that gossip starts, guess what? Shut it down. You reply and say, hey, let's keep it positive. They're just kids. Hey, let's keep it positive. Coach has volunteered so much time so that our kids are able to play the game. Hey, let's keep it positive. Be the one that breaks that cycle. And then at the end of the day, and this is just my favorite thing about it, and I say this with every situation I am in life, we have got to lead by example. We have got to. There's a clip that I've posted, and every time I say something about it, I see it pop up, I repost it, it goes crazy about these young kids coming out to explicit rap music. Now, do I listen to explicit rap music? Absolutely. Sometimes it's a banger when I'm in the gym. Should an 8-year-old kid be singing the lyrics? Absolutely not. But that's not the issue I have. It's the adults celebrating that. It's the adults, oh, singing with me. I want to hear y'all. Absolutely not. You should lead by example. Have your kids come out to some AC/DC. Have your kids walk out to some Thunderstruck. Come on. And again, you may think that's small, but it's not, because we're talking about kids. We're talking about kids. And then you wonder why people always have comments to make about, man, this and that and this, that, and the other. Don't do it. I've said this many a times. Whoop people's butts. You can be the best team and whoop everybody. Everybody you play, what do y'all call it? BTA? Do it. Don't physically BTA them, but just whip their butts. You don't have to do all the excessive stuff. Let people know, man, we're playing that team again. They're not coming out to zero music. They're locked in, walking around doing their claps, doing their chants. They whoop our butts. They walk off the field. They smile. They're fantastic kids. But again, for those same kids, it makes sense to me. Those kids whose parents allow their kids to come out to explicit music are the same parents in the group chat, are the same parents complaining about the coach, complaining about little Johnny, who is a fantastic quarterback, but he's 9. Little Johnny, who's still learning the fundamentals, but he's 9, because they want their kid to get all the run and their kid to get all the action. Absolutely not. And I've said this, and I will always say this. If you don't like how a team is ran, follow that protocol. But other than that, join the team and coach. Volunteer your time. It's often the loudest people that don't have a clue about sports, don't have a clue how to call an offense and how to call a defense. You can say what you want, man, back in high school. I don't care what you did back in high school. Back in high school, I was the man, homie. We ain't in high school no more, right? And it's time for us adults to lead the right way. Set the culture, change the culture, make sure our kids are doing the right way. I tell my sons, hey, we can play all the time. I'm goofy, right? I joke all the time. I'm the funniest human being in the world. It's not a joke to me. I feel it. I can light up rooms. I can make any and everybody laugh, and I stand on that. But I tell my kids, when I step into a place, I button up. So I've started to say this. My kids are still working on it, but I always tell them, button it up. We can act goofy over here, but when we walk in here, we're going to button that thing up. Why? Because that's who we are. But if I'm doing it, I want you to do it as well. I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm not asking you to button it up if I'm going to be acting goofy and silly and all that good stuff, right? Your kids are going to face bad bosses. Your kids are going to face bad and unfair. I don't want to say bad teachers. Shout out to teachers out there. You have a very difficult job. I coach kids. Y'all teach kids. It ain't the same. You get them from 8 to 4, whatever it is, 5 days a week. You the real MVP. So I'm not gonna say bad teachers. Let's go with unfair teachers. I understand we have bad days, and again, nothing but respect for teachers, right? And just tough situations. Your kids are gonna face all those for the rest of their lives. And if you think they're not, you're naive. If you think they're not, you need to look back in the mirror and everything that you've gone through. And I'm sure you have faced something. Nobody just skates through life like, oh my gosh, I wish something would go wrong with my life. Nah, man, my life is so perfect. I've never had a hiccup, never. Nah, it ain't like that for nobody. And so I just think that we have to teach our kids how to handle it with dignity, respect, and direct communication, not gossip. And communication will serve you in multiple ways. It'll serve you in sporting, in sports, It'll definitely serve you in relationships and all those things. And so shut them down. You're in that group chat. If they can't keep it where it needs to be, you can leave. If you have an iPhone nowadays, you can leave the conversations. I don't know about Android, but iPhone, you can just pop out a conversation. Hey, I want y'all to, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about kids. If they continue doing, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this, right? Support the coaches who are giving up their free time, right? You got to understand, again, just remember this. We volunteer. We volunteer for the love of the game. I love football. I love the life lessons. I love sports in general. I'll go out there and coach somebody to play cornhole. But we get out there and coach you to be a pillow fight champion. Don't play with me. I love it so much and the lessons it can teach. And so it's like you got to understand that people are volunteering their time. So my only thing that I'm in closing is I'm going to ask is if you see that subscribe button, click it. We have unfinished business. There's work I want to do. I get the comments all the time. You ain't going to change anything, but guess what? I'm not going to stop talking. I'm going to share what I want to share. Okay? And a reminder, there'll be a link. If you want some Lead from the Line merch, it's pretty clean. I ain't going to lie. I mean, I created it, so I kind of like them. But if you do, and again, it has nothing to do with money. I'm not doing anything I do for money. I'm doing it for the next generation, right? I care about the youth, and I care about making sure that these kids' mental health and everything is where it needs to be, right? And that we're not just so tied up into the athlete that we miss out on the human. And then we have a bunch of kids who are fantastic athletes. Things don't go right, and they don't feel like they have an identity, right? And I'm not saying, again, I don't think that's going to happen in all situations, but I don't want it to, right? And so, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love sitting in front of this microphone and chit-chatting. I could talk all day. Well, I got to keep these episodes at a certain point, but I really, really appreciate you. Always remember to lead loud, lead proud, and never forget, human first, athlete second. Catch you on the next one. First, athlete second. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining us on Lead from the Line. If this episode helped you, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. Join the conversation on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.
No flags on the play, keep your vision alive. Fatherhood and football.